My name is Tia Demps, and I'll be presenting on intimate partner violence and military personnel. Objectives of this presentation are to synthesize the prevalence of IPV among military personnel and veterans, identify triggers and stressors of IPV among military personnel and veterans, identify evidence-based intervention to reduce the rates of IPV among military personnel and veterans, and to understand the role of social workers in providing treatment and services for IPV. Introduction. Intimate partner violence can be described as emotional, sexual, and physical violence, as well as stalking from an intimate partner, and that can be both a current partner or a past intimate partner. More than one-third of women and one-fourth of men have experienced some form of IPV. It affects both men and women and can cause social, mental health, and physical issues. People who have served or are currently serving in the military may experience stressful events that triggers IPV, such as deployment. 30% of active duty personnel and 35% of veterans experience some form of IPV. Stigma related to IPV in the military often keeps both victims and offenders from seeking services. Case vignette. Todd Alexander is a 28-year-old African American man. He joined the military when he was 18 years old and has been deployed twice. He married at the age of 22 and his wife had their first child right before he deployed at the age of 26. While his first deployment went well, his second deployment was very stressful. He witnessed one of his closest friends die while being overseas. When he came home, he struggled to deal with his emotions regarding the loss of his friend and everything that he had witnessed while he was away. He does not want to talk to his wife about it because he does not believe that she will understand. He is also frustrated because his 2-year-old son cries whenever he is left alone with him. He hates feeling that he is a stranger to his own child. When his wife hears their son crying, she often steps in rather than let Todd handle it. This angers him because he feels that he will never bond with their son if she continues to do this. One day, when his wife intervened, he lashed out at her and slapped her across the face. He later felt guilty and apologized. However, he began to hit her and verbally abuse her on a regular basis. His wife knows that he wishes to remain married and threatens to divorce him and report him to his superiors if he does not seek help. Fearing the consequences he may face from his superiors and the humiliation from his peers, Todd begins counseling with the LCSW. Theoretical framework. The general aggression model is based on a socio-cognitive perspective that includes various factors such as individual, biological, and situational influences on the client. By providing treatment using these factors, it produces favorable behavioral and cognitive outcomes. This model is more holistic than some others in that it incorporates more than one factor in assessing the client. The general aggression model also helps to analyze aggression and violence, particularly in the cases of intimate partner violence. This model is suitable for working with military personnel because it takes into account the uniqueness of their background and also them as individuals. Contextual and personal factors. Because the general aggression models influence takes into account the influence of individual and biological and situational factors, I've divided it into sections. Individual. Although Todd is no longer deployed, he is still struggling with his emotions in regards to the death of his friend. Many military personnel experience issues of bereavement after losing comrades in the line of duty. Todd is isolating himself from his wife because he feels that she will not understand him. Carter and Renshaw, 2016, discuss how communication between spouses become more strained during and after deployment. This can lead to issues in the marriage, such as feelings of frustration and isolating oneself from his support system. Biological. Todd is frustrated because he does not have the connection to his son that he feels a father should have. Time away from the family and children can make it difficult for a soldier to find his place within his family after returning from deployment. In this case, that is especially so due to the age of his son when he left. Situational. Being in the military can cause issues when attempting to reunite with family after deployment. Todd wants to build a connection with his son, but is unable to do so because his wife is constantly interfering with his role as a parent. Todd is reluctant to seek treatment because of the stigma attached with it in the military culture. Soldiers are often trained to be strong and to not show weakness. This makes many feel uncomfortable seeking treatment because they fear judgment from their peers and also their superiors. Intervention. The intervention that was chosen in the case of Todd is cognitive behavior therapy. CBT is a talk and therapy technique that focuses on the client's feelings, emotions, and actions. CBT can assist the client in being able to think through negative or overwhelming thoughts in order to change their behavior. Also, it can be effective in treating offenders of IPV by aiding in the breakdown of the issue causing the violence and teaching coping strategies that will help eliminate negative thoughts and behavior in everyday life. Strengths and weaknesses of cognitive behavior therapy. Some of the strengths are teaching coping techniques for managing issues. It can be delivered in many formats because it's highly structured. That includes individual sessions or group sessions, and also if a client chooses to work on their own, there's many self-help formats that they will be able to obtain. And lastly, it can take less time than some other talk and therapy techniques. Weaknesses include attending regular sessions for CBT can take up a lot of the individual's time. It requires the cooperation of the individual, and it can initially make the client feel uncomfortable due to the focus on feelings and emotions. Diversity-related issues. The most diverse aspect in the case of Todd is that he is in the military. Most research and interventions are geared towards civilians and do not take into account the uniqueness of military culture, especially in regards to him being an offender rather than a victim. His connection and issues related to the military makes his case of IPV more situational and less biological or power related than other cases. This also could become a diversity issue if the clinician that Todd is seeing is not competent in aspects of the military and its culture. Ethical issue. Todd wants his session and the information he discloses with the social worker kept confidential. However, an ethical issue can occur if he states wanting to harm himself or others, such as his wife. This would be an issue because social workers are required to support intents of harm to either himself or to others. This issue could be resolved by reminding Todd before each session the limits of confidentiality that the LCSW is held to. Some community and military resources that Todd could use: Renew Counseling Center of North Carolina, which is located in Fayetteville. They provide domestic violence therapy for both offenders and victims. Carolina Counseling Services, which is also in Fayetteville. They provide many services, including military grief counseling and parent counseling. Therapeutic Solutions Professional Counseling can provide support counseling for military personnel before and after deployment to ease the issue of separation and reunion with loved ones. And that is also located in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And lastly is a website, Operation We Are Here. It offers information on various military support groups, services, trainings, and they also provide a list of apps for military personnel who don't feel comfortable discussing their issues with others, such as counselors, therapists, or social workers. These are my references, and I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.